That crossbow is remarkable, Varric. I am surprised the dwarves have not made more of them.
The woman who made Bianca would rather that not happen. Wars are bloody enough as it is. A crossbow that fires this far and this quickly, with so little training, every battle would be a massacre.
Indeed. I am surprised, not disappointed.
You really spend most of your time in the Fade?
As much as is possible. The Fade contains a wealth of knowledge for those who know where to look.
Sure, but I don't know how you dream, let alone wander around in there. Especially when the shit that comes out of the Fade generally seems pretty cranky.
So are humans, but we continue to interact with them when we must. Your abilities are remarkable, Seeker. It is fascinating to see how you and the Templars negate magic.
Have you never encountered Templars before?
Only at a distance. I am an apostate after all.
And they never caught up with you even once?
I am a very careful apostate. Bandits, demons, mages, and Templars. The refugees are in dire need of help.
So, who do you think is the toughest? Josephine, Liliana, or Cassandra?
I'm right here, you know.
That doesn't rule you out, Seeker.
Cullen's not up for consideration?
Curly? They just keep him around to look pretty.
You say you've witnessed past events in the Fade, Solas, or the memories of them. But the Fade distorts reality. Surely it cannot offer a true reflection of what occurred.
Are your own memories any different? The truth is never precise, regardless of where you are. I have heard that your books are very popular, Master Tethras.
I do all right.
I am glad of it.
Really? No sarcasm? No superior attitude?
We live in a dark and angry time, Child of the Stone. So much of what people believe has come crashing down. If you bring them a little peace with the worlds you make between the pages, you have done more than most.
Mages and Templars fighting everywhere. Great job, Blondie.
I think it's time you stopped playing the wounded party with me, Varric.
Ignoring the times you actually wounded me?
I did no such thing. I questioned you and then brought you to Haven so you could tell your story to the Divine.
Oh, what then? Thanks, Varric. We believe you. See you around.
Do not pretend to be an innocent bystander. I could have done far worse, with full justification.
Oh, yes. Thank you for not torturing me. I'm so much happier now.
It is good to see the Inquisition helping the refugees. It seems no one else will.
What is it like when Templars nullify magic, Solas?
It is as though you are drawing upon the world around us. Mages draw forth the essence of the Fade, and use that essence to shape reality.
And our powers drive it back, making this world harder to affect?
In a manner of speaking. You reinforce reality so it is less mutable. The Fade has nowhere to gain a foothold, and the magic disperses.
No one has ever accused me of reinforcing reality before.
You are a seeker of truth.
You know what I like about you, Chuckles? Your boundless optimism.
It's comforting that whatever qualities I lack, you'll invent for me, Varric.
No, really. Why else would an elven apostate help crazy chantry folk close a hole in the sky?
When you put it like that, I must concede your point. Varric, you joined the Inquisition when Seeker Pendergast questioned you.
Oh, she was very insistent that I help.
Interesting.
What's interesting?
It's surprising that an elven apostate is the one who joined the Inquisition voluntarily. By the end of Hard in Hightown, almost every character is revealed as a spy or a traitor.
Wait, you read my book?
It was in the Inquisition library. Everyone but Donnan turned out to be in disguise. Is that common?
Are we still talking about books, or are you asking if everyone I know is a secret agent?
Are there many tricksters in dwarven literature?
A handful, but they're the exception. Mostly they're just honoring the ancestors. It's very dull stuff. Human literature. Now there's where you'll find the tricky, clever, really deceitful types.
Curious.
Not really. Dwarves write how they want things to be. Humans write to figure out how things are.
It seems the Ferelden army has chosen to stay clear, for now.
So, as a Seeker, you're the highest ranked person in the Inquisition, but you're not in charge.
Liliana's rank equals my own, insofar as our rank means anything outside the Chantry.
But you want to get shit done, right?
I declared the Inquisition, but I don't know that I'm best suited to command it. Perhaps you're interested in the position, since you seem so interested.
Oh, no you don't. Leave me out of that mess. I spy with my little eye.
No.
Oh, come now, Seeker. I'm just trying to be friendly.
Try to be quiet instead.
When you brought me along to talk, perish the thought.
Stay alert. The chaos has made this part of Ferelden more dangerous than ever before.
You know there was a blight here, right?
All right, yes. Except during the Blight.
Is it true that the entire dwarven economy relies upon lyrium?
Mostly. We've got the Nug market cornered as well.
And the dwarves of Orzammar have never studied lyrium?
If they have, they certainly haven't shared anything up here. Why?
It is the source of all magic, save that which mages bring themselves. Dwarves alone have the ability to mine it safely. I wondered if they had sought to learn more.
The folks back in Orzammar don't care much about anything but tradition.
I've wondered, how did you know to approach us, Solas? The breach opened, we were scrambling and barely had time to think. And there you were.
I went to see the breach for myself. I did not know you would be there.
You must not have been far away.
I was not. I'd come to hear of the conclave, but did not want to get close.
Lucky for us, then. I confess, Solas, I am surprised you decided to remain.
Why? The breach remains a threat to us all.
Just the same. I wondered if you might leave now that we have a plan to seal it.
Ah, because I am an apostate. I might flee before the Inquisition throws me in chains. I take my commitment seriously, Seeker. Come what may, I shall see this through.
As you wish. Though I cannot guarantee what will happen in the days to come. Have you been taking notes on all this, Varric?
Well, you'll need to be more specific there, Seeker.
The Inquisition. You're not planning to write a book about us, are you?
Oh, don't get your hopes up. You're not that interesting a subject.
Seeker, you initially believed our Herald of Andraste was involved in the attack on the Conclave, yes?
I did. The evidence seemed damning, given the lack of an alternative.
Yet you changed your mind.
You also heard the voices at the temple. Is it so surprising I listened to them?
Sadly, yes. Too few invested with authority possess the courage to alter their course. They fear the appearance of weakness.
The truth is more important than my reputation. And anyone wishing to accuse me of weakness is welcome to try. I'm watching you, Varric, just so you know.
Well, that makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. What did I do now?
Nothing. Yet. Just keep it that way.
Varric Tethras, paragon of good behavior, at your service, Seeker. Is even terrain too much to ask for?
Is there a problem?
Well, you might be used to traipsing through the countryside, punching dragons, interrogating people, or whatever it is you did before this. I'm from the city. Does anybody else smell that? Seriously, just me?
It is a comfort to have you present on our journeys, Seeker.
You so rarely call me by my name, Solas. Why is that?
Manners, perhaps.
Manners have not held you back on other occasions.
I say what I believe to be true, even if it gives offense to those who prefer the lie. But there is no lie in what you are. Your position is an honorable one, and well earned.
I assume you've heard about Prince Sebastian, Varric.
I know he invaded Kirkwall. Are you going to blame me for that, too?
I wasn't trying to...
You weren't trying to remind me how bad it is in Kirkwall, so you decided to talk about it?
I thought you might be concerned. It is your home.
Of course I'm concerned. I don't need you prodding me with a stick to prove it. So here we are, Elf. Cleaning up another human mess.
What would the Inquisition do without our stabilizing influence, Master Tethras?
I assume they just start burning things.
That does sound like most humans I know.
If you gentlemen are quite finished...
Now, don't get touchy. We're just here to lend you simple humans our help.
Before you cause everything to explode.
Again?
You fight hard, Seeker.
We would be dead if I did not. There's almost no mention of your part in the tale of the champion, Varric.
I don't want to bore people.
You don't want to incriminate yourself, you mean?
Oh, same thing, really.
Solas, have you always lived alone? Out in the wilderness, as an apostate?
For the most part.
Would that not be incredibly trying?
People can be trying. Mankind most of all.
That is an excellent point. Redcliffe has seen more than its share of troubles. That the rebellion should play out here. Have you heard from any of your Kirkwall associates, Varric?
You're asking me? So you don't read my letters?
You're no longer my prisoner, much as you like to act like it.
Yet I still get all the suspicion.
I am not without sympathy, especially given recent events.
Why, Seeker, I would never accuse you of having sympathy. By the way, I tend to refer to my associates as friends. Maybe you're not familiar with the concept. Did you really think the Conclave had a chance of making peace, Seeker?
You do not?
What was the Divine's plan? Bring everyone together and hope really hard they would all get along?
Most Holy did not confide her plan to me. Perhaps she thought they were tired of death and conflict.
Now, when has that ever been true? For Templars or mages?
I will not mock a dead woman, Varric. She did what she could, and that is more than most. How do you write as you do, Varric? I can never find the proper words.
You? Right? Really?
I've needed to describe events in reports. They always come off as...
Dry, boring, lifeless, stale.
You are an ass.
Just helping you find those words.
Do you ever miss life beneath the earth? The call of the stone?
Nah, whatever the stone, capital S, is, it was gone by the time my parents had me.
But do you miss it?
How could I miss what I never had? But say I did have that sense, that connection to the stone. What would it cost me? Would I lose my friends up here? Would I stop telling stories? I like who I am. If I want to hear songs, I'll go to the tavern.
You are wiser than most.
You never did tell me why you dragged me to Haven, Seeker. I mean, what could I have told the Divine that you couldn't say yourself?
I thought she needed to see the chest hair for herself.
Say again?
I thought she needed to hear it from the horse's mouth, as it were. I also knew she would ask you to help us.
Help the Inquisition? Me?
A crazy thought, I know. Yet here you are. It can't properly be called a war any longer. It's a free-for-all. Mages against Templars against everyone.
I spy.
No.
But...
No.
Well, you should be good at finding things. Of course, you couldn't find Hawk. You know, Seeker, for someone with your tact and charisma, you assembled a pretty good little Inquisition. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt and assuming you didn't drag them all here by force.
How kind of you.
I mean, you never know. You could have kidnapped Ruffles and she'd be too polite to say anything.
Liliana recruited Josephine. They're friends.
So there's a rational explanation after all. Just when I thought you had layers. Think you'll ever go back to Navarra, Seeker?
Why? Are you eager to see me go?
I wasn't, actually. But now that you mention it...
How do you know I wouldn't just drag you along?
Be still, my heart. I've grown on you.
Like fungus.
What made the mages come here, of all places?
Solas, did you ever consider reforming the circle from within? You have both knowledge and wisdom. You could have made a difference.
I admire your optimism. But ask yourself honestly how the Templars would have reacted.
You fear they would have made you tranquil.
There is no doubt in my mind. My studies threaten established ideas. I would never have been tolerated.
I suppose you are right. Repairing the damage done will take great effort.
Would they were more like you, Seeker. I find the fall of the Dwarven lands confusing.
What's so confusing about endless darkspawn?
A great deal. Although that is a different matter. Dwarves control the flow of lyrium. They could tighten their grip on it.
It's hard to get the attention of the humans when the darkspawn aren't up here messing with their stuff.
You're active in the Carter. You know your people could tug the purse strings. You could claim sovereign land on the surface. Or demand help restoring the Dwarven kingdom, but you don't.
You're not saying anything I haven't said myself, Chuckles. Orzammar is what it is.
It is interesting to hear a mage's perspective of our abilities, Solas.
I am pleased you find it so.
I am taught my abilities come from the Maker. You probably think it's silly.
Your abilities declare the world real. Who, if not the maker of this world, could grant such a gift?
You believe in the Maker?
I am always open to new ideas. Did you believe the Conclave could achieve peace, Cassandra?
I had hope, as did we all.
The Templars went to war to force mages back into their circles, which the mages would never agree to. What solution could Divine Justinia have offered when all sides rejected compromise?
The war was going nowhere for either side. That they went at all showed they realized this.
Or they believed the other side would relent.
We shall never know now.
Is there at least a movement to reunite Orzammar and Kalsharok?
What is it with you, Chuckles? Why do you care so much about the dwarves?
Once, in the Fade, I saw the memory of a man who lived alone on an island. Most of his tribe had fallen to beasts or disease. His wife had died in childbirth. He was the only one left. He could have struck out on his own, to find a new land, new people. But he stayed. He spent every day catching fish in a little boat. Every night drinking fermented fruit juice and watching the stars.
I can think of worse lives.
How can you be happy surrendering? Knowing it'll all end with you? How can you not fight?
I suppose it depends on the quality of the fermented fruit juice.
So it seems.
It makes sense that Liliana did the recruiting when the Inquisition started. Not everyone can be intimidated into signing up, after all.
I recruited Commander Cullen.
Lucky him.
He's made no complaints about my manners.
His last boss was a raving lunatic who turned into a statue. That's not a high bar.
I am sorry to have bothered you with my questions about your people, Varric. I see so much of this world in dreams. Humans, my own people, even Kunari. Dwarves alone were lost to me, save scattered fragments of memory where some spirit cared to watch. Now I know why I see so little.
And why is that?
Dwarves are the severed arm of a once mighty hero, lying in a pool of blood, undirected. Whatever skill at arms it had, gone forever. Although it might twitch to give the appearance of life, it will never dream.
I'd avoid mentioning that to any Carta, Chuckles. They might not take it the right way. What is it with you and the doom stuff? Are you always this cheery, or is the hole in the sky getting to you?
I've no idea what you mean.
All the fallen empire crap you go on about. What's so great about empires anyway? So we lost the deep roads, and Orzammar is too proud to ask for help. So what? We're not Orzammar, and we're not our empire. There are tens of thousands of us living up here in the sunlight now, and it's not that bad. Life goes on. It's just different than it used to be.
And you have no concept of what that difference cost you.
Oh, I know what it didn't cost me. I'm still here, even after all those Tigers fell.
You truly are content to sit in the sun, never wondering what you could have been, never fighting back.
Ha, you've got it all wrong, Chuckles. This is fighting back.
How does passively accepting your fate constitute a fight?
In that story of yours, the fisherman watching the stars, dying alone, you thought he gave up, right?
Yes.
But he went on living. He lost everyone, but he still got up every morning. He made a life, even if it was alone. That's the world. Everything you build, it tears down. Everything you've got, it takes. And it's gone forever. The only choices you get are to lie down and die or keep going. He kept going. That's as close to beating the world as anyone gets.
Well said. Perhaps I was mistaken. A beautiful area to have seen so much sadness.
I really am in the ass end of nowhere now.
The people here should leave the area. It's too dangerous.
This is their home, Seeker.
Varric, I'm sorry about earlier, with the table.
Beg your pardon? I didn't catch that, Seeker.
I am sorry.
Oh, I'll mark this on my calendar. Cassandra had a feeling.
Perhaps not that sorry. Varric, does Hawk ever autograph books?
Why? Doesn't your copy of The Tale of the Champion have a big hole in it?
Yes, but it could also have Hawk's signature on it. Hawk's taller than I imagined.
That's the first thing you said to him, isn't it?
Not the first thing.
Tell you what, Seeker. Next time you make me tell a story at knife point, I'll make the hero sound taller.
About Hawk.
Don't, Seeker. Just don't.
But what about Anders? Does he...
He knows. I sent a letter. Leave it be.
So, Seeker, your Inquisition grows.
It was never my Inquisition, Solas.
You did the brutal, thankless work of putting the wheels in motion. Do you feel no regret at letting that power pass to another?
I did my part, but the power you describe was never mine to carry. I know myself, and I cannot be the leader we need. Thus, I have no regrets.
You surprise me again, Seeker.
Your opinion of me must be very low for me to surprise you so often.
Not low, but realistic. Very few, however honorable, release power they have won. The Grey Wardens allow elves and dwarves into their ranks?
Kunari too, I imagine. They don't care about titles or blood, just stopping the Blight.
A pity they do it so badly, then.
Give them some credit. It's not like you can study the Blight safely. I may not like everything they've done, but without the Wardens, we'd all be blighted by now.
They've bought us some time. I will grant them that.
Now that they are allied with the Inquisition, the rebel mages are likely to enjoy more freedoms.
I expect you are correct.
I thought you would be pleased.
I will be pleased when the world we share is not threatened by a blight-corrupted madman. Regardless of who was responsible, the conflict between Templars and mages helped Corypheus rise to power. We cannot afford to let political infighting distract us from our duty.
Agreed. When it is done, I promise what you have done here will not be forgotten.
Thank you, Seeker. I think.
Am I to understand your Bianca is married?
Oh, have we reached the stage where we gossip about each other's love lives?
It was a simple question, Varric.
There was nothing simple about it. Well, you brought up Bianca, Seeker. Does that mean I can ask about your conquests?
I have no conquests.
How about dalliances, liaisons, illicit affairs?
No. Very well, Varric. If you wish to know about men I have known, I will tell you.
Look, Seeker, I was only...
You were right. I pried first, and fair is fair. Years ago, I knew a young mage named Regalian. He was dashing, unlike any man I'd met. He died at the Conclave.
Oh.
What we had was fleeting, and years have passed. Still, it saddens me to think he's gone.
I'm sorry. Look, Seeker, I didn't mean to make you talk about your mage friend.
I know. I was not trying to make you speak of Bianca. If I was, you would know. I would yell, books would be stabbed.
I'll keep that in mind.
Solas, I am sorry about your friend.
Thank you.
I knew demons and spirits were similar, but I did not know one could become the other so easily.
Not similar, Seeker. The same. The Chantry sees black and white, but nature is, and always has been, grey. A spirit is a purpose. A demon is that purpose perverted.
That might be true with the spirit of compassion, but what is the purpose of a hunger demon?
Survival. Satiation. The pleasure of taste, of feeding. True hunger, however, is much darker. Think of all those who starve in this world. Mankind has itself to blame for the existence of demons.
You don't think much of the Grey Wardens, Solas.
They are fools, a fact only amplified by Corypheus's meddling.
A harsh assessment, but after Adamant, perhaps not undeserved.
Did you see the look on those nobles' faces back at the Winter Palace, Chuckles?
They seemed unaccustomed to seeing elves without servants' livery, or dwarves at all.
Priceless. That's definitely going in my next story.
Are you planning a chapter filled with courtly intrigue?
Close. I need to describe the face someone makes when they choke down something terrible.
Solas, what do you think this Corypheus actually is?
A darkspawn, as he appears?
But what of the orb he wields and the dragon he commands? This is no ordinary darkspawn.
His true advantage is the red lyrium. It is corrupted by the blight as he is. Thus he taps into its power twofold. Whatever he was before, that is what makes him dangerous now.
Solas, the dragon Corypheus commands, could it truly be an archdemon?
One assumes that if it were, we would be facing a blight.
So what is it then? A corrupted dragon? Simply another darkspawn?
It is connected to Corypheus. Such a relation goes beyond mere control. It is a bond.
It makes you wonder if that's all the archdemons themselves are, pets to beings who no longer exist.
I would not go as far as that. This dragon is a replica, spawned from a creature who aspires to greatness, no more.
I had not considered how fighting in our world might affect the Fade. Is it always thus, Solas?
It is worse this time, with the breach pulling spirits through against their will. But yes, every war, no matter how just, leads to hunger and rage, and so come the demons.
It is said that generals should avoid fighting in the same battlefield too many times.
The deaths, the rage, all of it weakens the veil.
But nothing is ever said of the effect war has upon the world of spirits, what we might be doing to them.
Every war has unintended victims. All too many go unnoticed.
I can't believe you picked the absolute worst of my books to read. Why not Hard and Hightown?
I have enough mysteries and investigations of my own.
What, you don't want to solve more in your spare time?
Then you killed my favorite character in Chapter 3, so I threw the book across the room.
A critic. Say no more.
Varric, how could you let the Knight Captain be framed for murder?
Well, I did spend 3 entire chapters setting it up.
But she didn't deserve it. You'd already put her through more than enough.
Look, Seeker, if you love a character, you give them pain, ruin their lives, make them suffer. Maybe even throw in a heroic death.
That makes no sense.
But you care enough to argue. If she had a nice afternoon and took a nap, you'd stop reading.
You seem troubled, Seeker. Still plagued by thoughts of your order?
I am reminded of what I was told following my vigil. They said my abilities were a gift from the Maker, a reward for my faith and dedication. But it was a trick, wasn't it? A ritual no different than the harrowing, simply magic.
Do you know how rare spirits of faith are? How difficult it is to draw them to this world? You should be proud having accomplished something so remarkable. Not ashamed it was not what you thought.
Thank you, Solas. That does make me feel better.
Your faith does you credit, Cassandra. I hope your Maker is worthy.
What made you write about Hawk? All your other books are complete fiction.
Someone had to set the record straight about the champion.
Yet your book is still full of lies.
But true ones. That's important.
Such an irresponsible use of magic. The mages here are little more than animals. How are you feeling, Cassandra, after the revelations about your Seekers?
How do you expect I might feel? Most of my life was dedicated to the Order. I did so much I believed was good in their name.
Now that you know them corrupt, you must determine which parts of yourself to discard and which to keep.
I assume you have advice?
I would hardly presume. In our travels, I have been impressed by your honesty and your faith. It is a difficult path, Seeker. But if anyone can walk it honorably, you can.
Why is the second, Hard in Hightown, so completely different from the first?
Because I didn't write it. Shit, did you pay actual coin for that book? One of these days, I'm gonna find the duster who wrote that garbage and introduce him to my editor.
By editor, do you mean your crossbow?
No, my actual editor. Best in the business. She runs half the coterie in Kirkwall, stickler for grammar. She once killed a man over a semicolon. I'd never print anything without her. Hey, Chuckles, do you ever play Wicked Grace?
I'm not much of a gambler anymore.
You don't have to play for real coin. That's just for keeping score.
What do you play for?
Conversation, mostly. That way I win no matter how the cards fall.
I noticed, Solas, that you did not seem surprised by what I uncovered about the Seekers.
No, they are an organization.
You think organizations to be inherently corrupt?
Given enough time, yes. To survive, an organization must devote resources to maintaining itself. Those resources inevitably accumulate, until the original purpose, however pure, is all but lost.
You make the Seekers sound like a mindless beast.
A beast, no matter how mindless, will die and give way to a successor. An organization is eternal. There are always corrupt men who hoard power for their own gain. And there are always honorable men who hoard power to fight them.
Solas, I assume you know it's possible to reverse the right of tranquility.
I did hear what you learned, yes.
I know of only one mage thus cured, and he had no control of his emotions. He was distraught. Do you think that would have passed if the tranquil are cured only to end up thus?
They would be a danger to themselves and others, yes. It is difficult to say. In your vigil, you were tranquil for but a moment. They have suffered much longer. Such control is like a muscle, atrophying without use. Given time, it might be restored, but until then...
That may be a risk we are obligated to undertake.
They will be grateful, even the ones who do not survive.
It was Justinia's likeness. If we had not been in the Fade...
If you are looking for certainty, Cassandra, I cannot help you.
She helped us, as Justinia would have.
Then, spirit or no, her actions were worthy of respect.
I suppose that is all we will ever know. Varric, you are aware that I'm a candidate for the Sunburst throne?
So I heard.
Not a single snide remark.
What?
I don't look forward to your needling, but its absence is telling.
Well, the thought of you as divine is scary. I'm hoping if I ignore it, it'll go away.
Solus, if you do not mind me asking, what do you believe in?
Cause and effect. Wisdom as its own reward, and the inherent right of all free-willed people to exist.
That is not what I meant.
I know. I believe the elven gods existed, as did the old gods of Davinter. But I do not think any of them were gods, unless you expand the definition of the word to the point of absurdity. I appreciate the idea of your maker, a god who does not need to prove his power. I wish more such gods felt the same.
You have seen much sadness in your journeys, Solus. Following the Maker might offer some hope.
I have people, Seeker. The greatest triumphs and tragedies this world has known can all be traced to people.
There's too many refugees out here. Reminds me of Kirkwall during the Blight.
The way you talk about magic, you've never been on good terms with the mage?
The Inquisitor, a couple others. They were a bit weird, but all right. I knew a funny boy in Denerim. Started fires with his eyes. Templars nabbed him right quick, so he's better now, I guess.
Better? Do you know what your southern circle's like?
Meals and training? So he won't starve or get stomped by a mob? I've seen both.
You're sadly right.
100 wrecked ships lie beneath these waters. It isn't called the Storm Coast for nothing. You should learn to watch your back.
Well, you need to... Your arse. No, your mum's arse.
Great. I'm glad we understand each other.
Finally, some humidity.
Look at you, all serious. What do wardens do when there's no blight anyway?
Whatever it takes to keep the world safe.
Like join Inquisition.
If that's what's necessary. Hey, you're here too.
The Inquisition can't be all broody beards like you and Cassandra.
She doesn't have the hair for it.
Oh, I bet she does. Places.
Bloody waking sea. Never been more sick than when I crossed that. Of course, it might have been the bottle of grappa I was nursing. The sea and I don't mix well.
So, I've been thinking, no jokes with a lot of you. I thought Josie was kissing arse, getting right up in there, but she's actually been fooling knobs all along. Good too.
Milady's adept at her special brand of warfare.
All smiles and pleases, like giving us their stuff, does them a favour twice over. And they love her for it. Best idea ever. I'll have to steal that one.
Yes, Sarah. You go right on ahead.
The air is nice. What? It is.
I can't figure you out, Sarah.
That's a surprise, isn't it?
You just picked up a bow one day and poof, expert marksman. A veritable savant.
A what?
A savant. A natural, meaning you needed no training.
Not your business if I do or didn't. Like I don't ask if you naturally shoot fireballs out your arse or just opinions.
I'll keep that in mind.
It's interesting watching you, Dorian. The way you carry yourself when you use magic.
I am very good at the whole magic thing.
No, it's not that. You find joy in it, not shame, and it shows.
Why be ashamed? Power should be respected, not swept under the carpet.
Something we Southerners need to learn, perhaps?
Maybe you're not a complete moron.
We were having a moment, now you've ruined it.
Indulge me, Sarah. What do you think of when I say demon?
Arrows.
Fine. Magister?
Arrows.
Not helpful, but given our history, I'll accept it. Thaumaturgy.
What?
Magical endeavors. Helpful wonders.
Oh. Arrows.
I can't believe you're scared of magic, Sarah. It's a gift as mundane to me as your bow to you. Surely you see there's nothing to fear in a properly used tool.
Tell that to all the proper mages waving their tools in people's faces.
There's an image.
What about Carithimus? How many proper tools does he have under him?
That's not... I don't think I can continue.
Right, well, I don't care how gifted you are. Don't cram it where it's not wanted.
Footing's rather slick around here.
The veil. She is salty here. What, Dorian? Stop looking at me.
I'm wondering if familiarity would cure your suspicion of magic.
I don't need to be familiar with your tool.
Please stop saying tool. And consider how much magic can accomplish. There are benefits for you and everyone. As the Maker said, magic exists to serve.
I don't care. I like you, Dorian. Don't ruin it. I smell seaweed. How do I know seaweed? So you're fat with it, right?
Me? Are you referring to...
Do you sleep on silk while gold shits down all over you? Are you rich?
I left all that behind. Although I do miss the gold shitting from time to time.
You really left it? Me weren't all bad. Do all Grey Wardens have beards?
No, just me. I stole all the beards, and all the power held within. There can be only one.
Not really.
Right. How's it end?
What, the tavern tale?
Come on. You left off elbow deep in circumstances. That can't be it.
That wasn't her name, but yeah, that's as far as the story ever gets. Why are you complaining?
Because I can't stop thinking about it. I need to know the end.
Why would you want to stop? The whole point of the good bit is thinking about the good bit. If I tell the end, it ends. Bunch of moaners, this. Drag out the sad shit, yes please, but hang on to a good bit. Oh, can't have that. Freaking daft.
Cold, salt air.
You know, I've never met an elf quite like you, Sam.
I don't doubt it. They're all slaves where you're from.
Not all of them, but yes, you have a point.
You ever talked to one who wasn't?
No, but I'm glad I have now.
People are people. Who knew?
Did you know that in Ostwick they hold races with greased cheese?
That sounds daft as anything.
They butter up a cheese about the size of a small wagon wheel and see how far they can run with it.
I'd just eat the cheese.
It's culture.
Well, culture can get in my mouth.
Dorian, I can't believe you drank that swill at the tavern.
I can't believe they served that swill at the tavern. What is Skyhold coming to?
Then why did you drink it?
I couldn't stop. With each sip it can't be that bad, can it? Before I knew it, I was analyzing the nuances of its flavor, observing its effect on my nausea. I was in a catatonic trance, fueled by the stench of disgusting dwarven ale.
Or you're a drunkard with terrible taste.
There is that.
Are they losing their minds into Vinter? I bet they are.
About anything in particular?
The Inquisition? I mean, you people believe weird stuff, right? About Andraste.
Most of the Imperial Chantry's teachings are the same as in the South, despite some finicky bits about magic.
The parts where you're wrong.
Yes, quite. The parts where we're wrong.
I like you. You don't ask about elfy stuff.
Like you'd know what you're talking about.
Right, well. Do me a favor, Dorian. Give me some warning if you're going to bust out in demons or something.
How do you picture me busting out? I'm walking along and oops, demon. I mean, it could happen despite my training. You could also trip and impale your eye on an arrow.
So you're going to warn me or not?
Certainly. But only because you're so dear to me.
I don't go on boats. Not with lunch.
I've often wondered what the average man thinks about mage freedom.
If you really cared, you could ask. Oh, but wait. That would involve talking to dirty commoners like me.
True. So much for that.
Word of what happened in Redcliffe had better not spread.
Oh? Why not?
You think mages will be better off if people know they can change the future?
Ignoring that that's not the case, I suspect people will use any excuse to hate us.
Then you should not give them more.
Did everyone act like this when the sword was invented? Oh, my blushing butt cheeks. Round up everyone who can use these pointy things and lock them away.
It is not the same thing, and you know it.
Demons, flappy robes,
Thieves, dog stink,
culty shits.
treacherous towns.
What? It's not a proper game of your people are shit if you make up words.
Taeon is a Ferelden title, beneath only the family of the king. I'd have expected you, of all people, to know that.
Well, that's smartasses.
Too late. I believe that's my round.
Piss.
I have only one question, Sarah. Did you cut your own hair?
Yeah, why wouldn't I?
You could try using something other than a rusty butter knife.
Oh, excuse me while I dig up my diamond-studded hair-cutting whatevers.
Scissors. The word you're looking for is scissors.
Dorian, those words you say, what do they mean?
What, you mean like mendicant? Ultimatum?
No arse when you're mad. Ishanti Kothas. You're swearing, I know it.
Vishanta Kafas. It's Devine, relics of the old tongue. We still use the colourful phrases.
And it means what?
Literally, you shit on my tongue.
Why not just say that?
A mystery for the ages.
How do you get your hair to do that, Dorian? With magic?
With proper hygiene and grooming. Maybe all three of you should get acquainted.
That breach. It's hard to look away from it sometimes.
Right, because you know what it looks like.
No, it doesn't.
You know. So you'll be careful when you throw all that fire around, yeah?
As long as you're careful where you shoot all those arrows.
You magic me, I'll put 3 in your eye.
Now we can live together in peace and harmony.
Dorian, I would prefer if you stopped referring to me as that hairy lummox.
When did I do that?
The tavern, the smithy, the servants. You said it to the gate guards as we left Skyhold.
That does sound like me.
You have something to say, mage?
If I had something to say, I'd say it.
That's it? I'd expect more from a man who can't stop talking about how clever he is.
And I'd expect no less from a brutish thug.
Better that than a pompous brat.
You two are such men.
Well, I'm a man.
Best pound your chest, so nobody doubts. A Grey Warden recruiter. That sounds interesting.
It's not easy finding people willing to shoulder such a terrible responsibility.
Here I thought you poked around prisons, hunting for murderers, desperate to escape the noose.
That's what you think of wardens.
It's not such a terrible thing. Some of my best friends are murderers.
They are men and women atoning for what they've done by giving of themselves. They fight for people like you, people in silks and velvets, who talk and judge.
Who's judging now?
I know your kind.
What do you know of my kind, Blackwall?
I know that what comes out of your mouth is the same drivel that comes out of theirs.
It might sound that way to someone who's been clubbed on the head too often.
Careful I don't club you on the head.
That's what I'd expect from your kind.
The kitchen wouldn't give me cakes because Josie, oh so prim, was sending them to allies.
Why cakes when you can give them a two-fingered salute and a box full of dog shit? You know I hate the aristocracy as much as you do. I hate that they sit in palaces, sipping wine while people starve outside their gates. I hate that good soldiers die in senseless wars over who gets the fancy chair. Still, it's better to have the nobility on your side than not. They're dogs, all of them. And even the primped and powdered ones have teeth.
Box of dog shit. Oh, that's a good one.
It's odd how you've won over so many at Skyhold, Dorian.
You're surprised they haven't all dismissed me as the charming but ultimately wicked Magister.
Never. You're more the spoiled prince, and I question your reasons for being here.
A prince? I've moved up in the world. My reasons for being here are the same as yours, thank you.
I find that difficult to believe.
Perhaps when you get past the simple heuristics that define your world, we'll get along.
I always like the sea.
Hey, do you think they'll have pie when we get back? I could use pie. Or 3.
That's a lot of pie for one person.
You'd understand if you've ever been hungry. In your bones hungry.
An old salt now, that is what I am, as I sail these stormy waters. Ever heard of the pale ship that appears on the mists? The Windy Marcher, I think that's what they call it.
Still on about my Lady Josie and her tricky tongue. And I've been thinking again. Shut up. Here's how I'll do it too. I find a knob right, and I seduce him.
I worry where this might be going.
Wait, not done yet. He thinks he's being seduced. But when it's time for slap and tickle, I jump up and say, I like your wife better.
And the goal would be?
He thinks he's in charge, but he isn't. I am.
I don't know what to say.
Then I'll punch him to make sure he gets it.
Oh, Sarah, I do love you. Hey, when this is all done, if you ever need my help for anything, you just ask, all right?
Knew it. Knew you could be one of us.
Us? That Red Jenny thing, I didn't mean.
It'll be brilliant, right? You can flip some tables, show some knobs your arse or something.
No one needs to see my ass.
I know!
Where do you get all your arrows, Sarah? You have hundreds.
From your arse, that's where.
My arse should open up a shop. It's apparently quite prolific.
Know what I hear? The only thing scaring nobles more than the baddies is being asked to help us. Typical, right? Wet and running the first sign of trouble.
I knew a duke who actually had a servant follow him to war with corks in case his bowels loosened. Called him his retainer.
The Storm Coast? You Southerners think of cheery names for these places, don't you?
Beardy.
Fuzzhead.
Grand.
You caught the eye of a young woman in that last village, Blackwall.
I'm sure you're mistaken.
You're right. She was undoubtedly looking at me.
You don't laugh like a Devinter.
How is a Tevinter supposed to laugh exactly?
Cruel and stupid like.
Oh no. You're not allowed to laugh like that until you get your Magister license.
Knew it. Varric owes me a sovereign.
Corypheus, one of yours, isn't he?
One of mine? Like a pet? Like a giant darkspawn hamster with aspirations of godhood? Dorian, why can't you look after your little friends? Corypheus peed on the carpet again. In this analogy, the carpet is Haven.
Is he or is he not a Tevinter Magister?
Meaning the source of everything bad and evil in the world? They are the same, yes?
Certainly feels that way at times.
For being so unnerved by magic, you aren't shy about benefiting from its effects.
I don't. I use normal things, not magic.
You consider swathing yourself in flame or ice normal and not magic?
For one, it comes out a bottle. For two, I mess up, I get burned. You mess up, your head chucks up a demon. For three, bottle, little burned, no demons. So there.
That was only... You know, if it lets you sleep at night, never mind.
I don't get it. If you want to change, just change. Why this fake warden rubbish?
For one, people wanted me dead. Being someone else kept me breathing. And then, knowing that people thought I was good made it easier.
You needed them to think you could, so you could think you could. You're smart, but you're sort of stupid. So, you gonna squeeze up to her or not?
What? Squeeze up to who?
Lady Josie, I've seen you doing that nightly stuff.
Maker, Sarah. No, stay out of it.
You're all shy. What, you think you can't treat her right?
No, it's not...
I'll show you. I just need a peach. A ripe one. Because if you do it right... Ripe. Down there.
Please, no peaches, ripe or otherwise.
Well, I can't teach you bananas. That'd be like showing you swords. Oh, remember, do not use it like a sword.
How do I make this stop?
Always knew you were up to something.
Sorry.
For what? Trying? Better than most ever do. Your Magisters. They all like coffee face.
Not quite. Corypheus is one of a kind. An original Darkspawn, it turns out.
I mean, are they all crazy? Wanting to be gods? Like that?
That. Not all of them, but enough.
And you let them live? Why?
There's always more where they came from. Men like Corypheus aren't born, they're made. Bloody waking sea. Never been more sick than when I crossed that. Of course, it might have been the bottle of grappa I was nursing. The sea and I don't mix well.
Is that it?
Dare I ask?
What you and Josie do? Is that it? I saw you sighing in the wall hole.
It's a casement and it's virtuous. Courtly.
Couple of weirdies. The people back in Vinter, are they all just like you, Dorian?
Meaning what exactly?
You know, not scary, keeping their magic rubbish to themselves.
I'm going to take that as a compliment. Sadly, there's an element there who would welcome Corypheus with open arms. A stupidly short-sighted element.
I know, right? He's a piss bag.
Quite.
Still on about my Lady Josie and her tricky tongue, and I've been thinking again. Shut up. Here's how I'll do it too. I find a knob right, and I seduce him.
I worry where this might be going.
Wait, not done yet. He thinks he's being seduced, but when it's time for slap and tickle, I jump up and say, I like your wife better.
And the goal would be?
He thinks he's in charge, but he isn't. I am.
I don't know what to say.
Then I'll punch him to make sure he gets it.
Oh, Sarah. I do love you.
I can't believe you made it through the Winter Palace in one piece.
Whatever. They talk plenty, but if you don't play their stupid game, they're lost.
You don't play their stupid game, they send an assassin or three your way.
They could try, sure.
You have no problem with escalation, do you?
Not when I put enough arrows in it.
You were in Denerim during the Blight, Sarah. Did you see many Grey Wardens?
Not a one. Not in person. They were killed or something.
Or something. Betrayed while defending a nation.
Right, well, I suppose there's worse, yeah?
Yes, there certainly is.
Oh, I didn't mean... You know, beardy people are supposed to be jolly. Because if they're not, I'll yank it. Understood?
Understood.
I once saw the Empress's arse.
Congratulations.
Well, I didn't. I drew it, and someone said it was a good likeness. That's a story about trust.
So, ma'am, you must be pleased the Inquisition brought in all those rebel mages.
Hardly. Magic is dangerous, and with the Inquisition's alliance, the mages are now dangerously independent.
Your views on magic don't quite mesh with what I was taught about mages outside the Cube.
Life is a series of necessary restrictions, Iron Bull. The small-minded beat against every wall they find. The wise learn to make the most of the options they have. That's going to stain. Pity.
Solus doesn't fear spirits, Vivienne. Why do you?
Your apostate friend did not benefit from formal training in a circle.
The circle makes you afraid. Are the demons stronger there?
The circle taught me the tricks demons play to gain the trust of any mage foolish enough to listen. Solus seems to trust you. How long before you turn on him?
Solus is my friend.
But you'd like to be more, wouldn't you? You could be together forever if you possessed him. Is that not truly what you want? A body to claim your own, so you never have to return to the Fade?
I can't return to the Fade. Sometimes I wish I could. Nugs are kind. Almost everything is bigger than they, but they're still happy. If you hold out your hand, they will nuzzle it. It's how they call you friend.
Remember, Inquisitor, the harmless-looking ones are always the most dangerous.
Nugs aren't dangerous.
I was not referring to Nugs.
The Iron Bull, do you ever worry that a demon could be standing off to the left where your eye can't see?
Well, I do now.
With so many rifts marking the world, I'm surprised any demons nearby do not fall back through. It would be a simple matter for such misguided creatures to return to their home and leave this confusing world behind. Would that not be easier for everyone involved, my dear?
Demons can't hear you. It hurts too much. Nothing here makes sense to them. It smells like growing.
All right, Cole. So when we run into a big guy with a shield...
You are big, boasting, battering, and I blend behind. Daggers in darkness. 1, 2, 3.
Assuming that actually means what I think it does. Great.
When we fight, you make them not people, so their death doesn't stick to you.
Yes. Pick that up in Saharan. You've got to keep it separate. Out here, anything could be a threat. You kill for the team, no questions asked.
I see it. A wall of wounds. Nothing on this side has a family.
When we're at the tavern or back home, it goes back to normal. People get to be people again.
What if someone attacks you in a tavern?
That's when shit gets messed up. You're a fast little guy, Cole.
Do you wish you were faster, the Iron Bull?
Nah, just as soon stand there and let them come to me when they're ready to die.
Then it's them, not you. You don't want to kill, you want to defend.
Hey, don't go around saying crap like that. I like killing.
But you give them a chance. You make them choose, so it's their fault.
Just... Come on, kid. You're making it weird.
I have heard of the life of the Cerebus, Iron Bull, but I'm curious about your viewpoint.
It's sad, mostly. The magic appears late in childhood, just like it does for you folks. Some kids gone years learning to be a baker, or soldier, or builder, and then one day, that's all gone.
You sound as though you pity them.
Well, yes. In theory, they're no different from anyone else. The Tamasrans and the Ben Hasrath protect everyone from their own mistakes. They're people too, just serving the Cume. But too many Qunari are afraid of them.
Not you, though.
No. Anyone who takes that burden and lives a good life with it has my respect. So what's it like shacking up in the circle?
Excuse me?
Well, I assume people do it, and your people. So, you have to have... I mean, come on. With those... Just forget I asked.
I shall. I confess, Iron Bull, I had assumed you would not be comfortable fighting alongside a mage.
We use Cerebos when we need to.
That is hardly the same.
No, ma'am. Fighting with you is more like hitting an enemy while a dreadnought pounds their front line. All fire and smoke ahead of you. Half the enemy already on the ground by the time you get there.
So I am a Canary dreadnought?
I, didn't mean to offend you.
Not at all. I am Madame de Fer.
Vassad was angry. He went first because he wanted to fight. Taking point, then points take him, red on his neck.
I was just thinking about... Wait, you in my mind again, kid?
Even if you went in first, there would have been another fight. Another time he didn't listen. It wasn't your fault.
Yes, it was. I was in charge. Should have found a way to... Hey, that's pretty good. We could use that.
You can use sadness?
Ben Hasrath, kid. We can use anything.
Dorian is like you, Vivienne.
I think not.
The veil sings around both of you. It whispers through you and makes you both brighter.
The same could be said of any mage. Beyond that, I have little in common with a noble from Tevinter.
No. For most mages, it's a tool, a toil. You make it you.
Nonsense, as usual.
So, ma'am, with the magic, do you prefer fire, or lightning, or cold, or what?
The proper tool for the proper task. Fire reminds an enemy that you can destroy everything around. Lightning puts the fear of the Maker into her. Cold makes her think you implacable, while spirit energy conjures fears of demons.
I like cold, because it freezes them, and then they break into little bits when I chop them in half.
That's fine too, dear.
I like your horns, the Iron Bull. But they're dragon horns, not bull horns. You could have named yourself the Iron Dragon.
Oh. Shit. That would have been better.
My dear Iron Bull, stand up straight. You're slouching like a sulking child.
I keep smacking my horns going through doors.
Darling, you are in no danger from a door beam. Just watch where you're going.
I may have done it a couple times on purpose, to see if I could knock the frame loose.
Wind is always going someplace. What happens when it gets there?
Apparently, it dons a hat and prattles endlessly.
Grass doesn't mind anything. People walk on it, horses eat it. It's always content.
It's probably thankful it doesn't have ears and can't listen to you.
So, ma'am, what does the Circle know about fade rifts and such?
Very little. No mage of the Circle had encountered anything like this before the breach.
Well, that's reassuring.
Stepping into the parlor, hem of my gown snagged. No, adjust before I go in. Must look perfect.
My dear, your pet is speaking again. Do silence it.
Voices inside. Marquis Alphonse. I do hope Duke Bastien puts out the lights before he touches her, but then she must disappear in the dark. Gown tight between my fingers, cold all over, unacceptable. Wheels turn, strings pull. He hurt you. You left a letter, let out a lie so he would do something foolish against the Inquisition. A trap.
Inquisitor, as your demon lacks manners, perhaps you could get Solus to train it.
I thought mages in Orlais didn't fight. You're more than capable with combat magic.
Mages in Orlais do not fight without permission, my dear. Some are better at gaining permission than others.
So mages in the Circle really have to defend themselves against a demon?
As part of our harrowing, we must prove we can defend against possession and are thus no danger to the world.
Demons. That's messed up.
Don't worry, my dear. Should we encounter demons, I will protect you.
You got to pick your name. The Iron Bull.
Sure did. Thanks for sticking the on there, too. Most people forget. It kind of makes it sound like I'm not really a person, like I'm this dangerous thing, you know?
You made it a joke on yourself, making mockery, so you would never be that.
It kills the joke if you explain it, kid. Hey, Cole, quick! What number am I thinking of?
Raw and hot, trying to open it, but just darkness. How bad? How bad? No, done now. No sense worrying. The man they hurt coughs, shaking but sits up, eyes wide. No, not a man, a woman, clothes torn.
You're safe now. I'm Iron Bull. What do you want me to call you?
12. The number I was thinking of was 12. Demon interrogators. Stupid idea anyway.
I understand that under the Qun, mages are tightly controlled to protect others from their power.
You don't need to worry. I have no intention of trying to leash anyone.
I never worry, darling. A leash can be pulled from either end.
Barman laughs, slides the drink over. Tankard in view the whole time, no chance poison was added. Blade at his waist, club under the bar. Moves with training, mercenary or guard. Use that if I have to.
Yeah, I go for the shoulder. A shot he trained to take on the armor. But since he's a barman now, and not a merc, he bleeds, flinches, and I trap the arm and break his neck.
Why the Iron Bull?
I didn't do it, kid. It was just idle thought in case it came up.
Do you think about how to kill everyone you meet?
Do you not?
Iron Bull, did you clean your weapon after the last fight?
No. Odds are we're gonna be killing something again in a few minutes. Besides, the bloodstains are good for scaring enemies. They see a big, messy blade, and they... you know... I'll go clean it.
Thank you, darling.
Yes, ma'am.
Leeches only take as much as they need.
So, Cole, you're polite, you're good in a fight, and your heart's in the right place.
It is? Good.
I've got a plan. I think this could get you sorted out, get both feet on the ground.
I have to lift my feet. All the rocks make noise when I walk.
Yes. When we get back, you're gonna spend an evening with a nice lady named Candy.
Can I lift my feet?
She's gonna lift a lot more than that.
I wonder what sort of eye patch we should get you. I think gold, inlaid with glowing lyrium and amethysts.
Oh. Hadn't thought of it like that, ma'am.
The Iron Bull, a woman in the last village wanted you to pick her up and take her clothes off.
Most people do.
In her mind, you were very big.
Well, that's flattering.
You cannot go shirtless in front of the preeminent nobles of Orlais. Let us see.
Wait, no. No way you're putting me in some puffy-sleeved crap.
Of course not, darling. Puffed sleeves would waste those magnificent shoulders. A purple coat, tight at the waist, slashed with silver, emerald accents, open at the collar to accentuate your chest. Every woman will want you. Every man will want to be you.
Well, all right. Tell me more about the coat. So, how is Candy? You two have a good time?
Yes. She danced. Then I untangled the hurt that made her angry at her mother. I helped her write a letter to send back home. She said I could call her Marguerite. The name didn't hurt anymore.
Well, that was 5 royals well spent. I assume that between living in the Circle and wherever you live in Orlais, you don't get out much, ma'am.
It is somewhat uncommon, yes.
Enjoying the great outdoors?
The next time we make camp, I intend to construct a bath. I will need you to find me fresh water.
Yes, ma'am. I really want to kill something. That would make me feel a lot better about being here.
The mud wants my feet to stay. Do you feel spirits move around you when you cast a spell? Bits of them push through with your magic, tiny, a wisp of a wisp, free before falling back. They pool around you, water in a cup, defined, deafened, hearing only your song. They want to skate, scintillate on skin. You made them, their maker.
Now, I need a bath.
So, Cole, I was talking with the servants back at Skyhold. None of them can remember you.
They're scared of me. Strange boy, doesn't move right. Magic, mage, monster. It's better for them to forget.
Why do you let us remember then? Sarah's at least as freaked out by you as the servants.
If she forgot me, she might hit me by mistake in a fight.
That'd be really disappointing for her. She's got her heart set on hitting you on purpose. Are you sure you're not, maybe, just a little bit Tamasran, ma'am?
My dear, I don't believe there is such a thing as a little bit Tamasran.
All right, point taken. But you're pretty tall for a human. Maybe there was a Kunari in there a few generations back.
Bull, darling. I wear high heels and tall hats. Fashion is not, so far as I know, a demand of the Qun.
You've got a point there. Usually the Qun doesn't even demand pants.
You were not at the spire when the rebellion started, Vivienne. I tried to protect the mages. I would remember you.
What were you doing at the spire, demon?
I didn't know what I was. When mages were afraid, their pain called me, and I set them free.
You helped mages escape?
I killed them so the Templars couldn't hurt them anymore.
Of course. I should have guessed a demon's help would end in blood.
It was wrong. I'm sorry. You and Krem say words that hurt, but they aren't real, the Iron Bull.
Yes, we give sweet the grief. It's a soldier thing. Doesn't mean anything.
It means friendship, and that you're soldiers. Krem likes it. It makes him proud.
I guess I can see that. Him, huh?
Is that wrong?
No. I just thought, since you do that thing where you see into people's heads. Actually, you're good, kid. Keep it up.
The armor is right. The body isn't, but it doesn't hurt him anymore. You make it better.
Cole, you were the ghost of the spire.
Yes?
Your murders stirred the Circle into a frenzy. That was what brought the attention of the Templars.
The Templars hurt mages.
Stupid, panicking mages who became a danger to themselves and others because of you. You brought matters in the spire to a head. Without you, there would be no rebellion. Countless deaths are on your head, demon. Are you satisfied with the result of your protection?
You're lying. Twist the words right, and it will show its true form. Blood or banishment, either will suffice. You like the Templars. You think they were right. You don't need to be protected.
It can learn after all.
This is like the Fade, but wetter.
A large wildfire would do wonders for this place.
Sour smell in the tower library, rotten meat and ashes. Too quiet without the apprentices. Something crunches underfoot. Burned finger bones glitter in the ash like pearls. Ice in my veins. The archivist, what was her name?
Get out.
Why did they kill her? She was just like them.
They helped her, just like you did. Anyone who wouldn't fight for freedom was freed by fire and lightning. Stay out of my thoughts, demon. My memories are my own.
So, Cole, you're a spirit... demon... thing.
Yes. And you're the Iron Bull, afraid of demons.
Not fond of them, no. But you and I are fine as long as you don't do any weird crap.
Lying awake, sheets soaked in sweat, afraid to call the Tamasrans. Shadows make shapes in the dark. If it gets in my head, how do I cut it out? Itching, shaking, tears slide cold down my cheeks. Tama, I'm scared.
Yeah, weird crap like that. Pretty much what I meant. This place smells like ass.
Tama, how will I follow the Kyun? Her hands strong but gentle, ruffle stubs where the horns will be. You are strong and your mind is sharp. You will solve problems others cannot. She smiles, but sadly.
Looks like my old Tomasrin was wrong. Bet she's pissed one of her kids went Talvashoth.
Agents with hushed tones, eyes stinging, forms to fill out, course corrections, reduce risk of similar losses. I remember the little boy, too wise, eager to help. Words break in small secret spaces. He got away. He got away.
How could you know that? You've never even met her.
Your hurt touches hers.
Well, that's creepy, but thanks. You know, Viv, you're not bad with that staff.
You will address me as Enchanter Vivienne, court mage to the Empire of Orlais, or Madame de Fer, not Viv.
Oh, right, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am works as well.
You're afraid. You don't have to be.
My dear Inquisitor, please restrain your pet demon. I do not want it addressing me.
He's not doing any harm, Vivienne.
It's a demon, darling. All it can do is harm.
Everything bright, roar of anger as the demon rears. No, I will not fall. No one will control me ever again. Flash of white as the world comes back, shaking, hollow, harrowed but smiling at Templars to show them I'm me. I am not like that. I can protect you. If Templars come for you, I will kill them.
Delightful.
So many spirits clustering around, pressing against the veil, calling your name. Vivienne, Vivienne, look at me.
I get that at court too, darling. They get used to disappointment. Courtiers always do.
I hate fighting in mud. Put any muscle on a swing and you slide all over the place.
Well, that's a fascinating odor.
So, ma'am, with respect, all that crap at Halamsharal made sense to you?
Of course. Florian's motives were unfortunate, but hardly inscrutable.
But how does Orlais work with all the nobles screwing each other over like that? I mean, give Corypheus credit. If we hadn't stopped him, he'd have brought down the whole empire.
Then it is fortunate that we did stop him.
So, ma'am, what do you think of Skyhold?
Why'd you ask?
Well, I don't know crap about magic, so if the veil is thin or it's weak against demons somehow, I can't tell.
It needs gold caps on the towers, bunting in the courtyard, and a great deal of soap.
Ah, got it. When we get back, I'm taking a long, hot bath.
You cannot go shirtless in front of the preeminent nobles of Orlais. Let us see.
Hey, I had a shirt in Halamsharal.
In Halamsharal, you are a blade of cheap iron. When I am done, you will shine like a gleaming dawnstone saber. A purple coat, tight at the waist, slashed with silver, emerald accents, open at the collar to accentuate your chest. Every woman will want you. Every man will want to be you.
Well, all right. Tell me more about the coat.
You are no longer in danger of being bound by enemies of the Inquisition, demon.
Yes, I am no danger now.
No more than you were before.
You worried for me.
I was concerned about you, demon. You have grown adept at killing. If you cannot be gone, I would prefer you remain pointed at the enemy.
No, you were worried. The part of you that forgets I'm me cared. You wanted to go away. You think caring makes you weak. Don't worry. I won't tell anyone.
All right, ma'am. I get that Skyhold needs a fresh coat of paint.
At the bare minimum. Ideally, we could have the battlements enameled or sheathed in marble.
But it looks good, right? With that silhouette, it's just daring somebody to try to attack it.
This is the limitation of your upbringing under the Kyun, darling. Skyhold must not merely unnerve potential foes. It must entice potential allies.
Well, that's why we have you and Josephine. And apparently marble sheaths.
Now, Bull, the steps of the Dance of Six Candles?
Wait a minute. I know what this is. You're screwing with me because you look like a Tamasran. It's the whole authoritative female thing, plus that hat with the horns. You've been playing me. Well, I was trained by the Ben Hasrath. You think I don't know how to handle manipulation?
Bull, step, step, turn.
Step, shuffle, spin, ma'am.
The Iron Bull, in one fight, you let someone hit you so they wouldn't hit me.
Yes?
But you hate demons.
Listen, Cole, you might be a weird, squirrely kid, but you're my weird, squirrely kid.
Oh. Thank you.
Just don't make it weird. No full hugs, maybe a one-arm slap on the back, at most.
All right.
Hey, Cole, did you know the servants at Skyhold remember you now?
Yes, I'm more real. What they feel sticks, holding, heavy. I can't wash it away, but it lets me learn.
Hey, good for you. Glad to hear it. I think. So, ma'am, you must be pleased the Inquisition brought in all those rebel mages.
Hardly. Magic is dangerous, and with the Inquisition's alliance, the mages are now dangerously independent.
Your views on magic don't quite mesh with what I was taught about mages outside the Cume.
Life is a series of necessary restrictions, Iron Bull. The small-minded beat against every wall they find. The wise learn to make the most of the options they have.
So, ma'am, the Warden Mage is adamant. They don't have to be part of the Circle?
No. The Grey Wardens are free of the confines of the Circle, so they may battle the Darkspawn unfettered. Some mages who chafe at the Circle's constraints actually hope to be recruited.
Not you, though.
Darling, my interests lie in the Circle and the Court. The Wardens are irrelevant to both.
Well, after seeing what they did with blood magic, a nice strong circle looks pretty good. You really think Orlais works the way it is, ma'am? With all that infighting, all those selfish blowhards?
Orlais is selfish, but that ambition you decry breeds its own strength. Those who rule Orlais never fear treachery from the rest of the world. They have already faced far worse.
Well, that's one way to train your leaders.
So many old songs under the water.
Places like this often preserve corpses.
You don't use blood magic, Vivienne?
Of course not. Such magic is a tool for the weak. That the Warden mages resorted to it is pitiful.
Trembling, my knife at his throat. Not this, not this. Swore I'd do whatever they asked, but not this. In death, sacrifice, his hand grips my wrist, pulls the blade across his throat. I'm sorry.
As I said, pitiful. Were you sad watching your fellow spirits banished at Adamant, Cole?
No. They were free, unbound, banished back where they belonged. I liked watching the rocks break the walls. Falling fortress, old dead fears cracking like flakes of blood. It was better than last time.
Last time? Are we to understand that you have been to Adamant before?
Yes?
So your visit to Adamant was better this time, despite the arrival of an archdemon?
It came last time, too.
Just remember, anything poking up from the water could be some horrible monster acting like a stick.
You know, I believe I have a gown made of beetle wings from this bog. I should really get matching gloves made.
You were happy at the Winter Palace, Vivienne?
Your point, demon?
You were still sharp, but happy. Golden, glittering, everything gleamed. Rules that let you win.
One does not wish to brag.
That's why you're happier being a noble than a mage. You fear demons, not people.
People can only kill you.
Gown perfect, shoes perfect, hat perfect, staff a symbol, not a weapon. My room, my people, mine.
Out, please.
I don't understand Celine and Gaspard.
I shall try to suppress my shock.
There's no hurt? Nothing there touched you?
Did you expect me to get misty-eyed over who rose to glory and who paid the price, Demon? It is the game. No matter what transpired at the Winter Palace, I took steps to strengthen my position.
How do you make a game that you always win?
Practice. Iron Bull, stop picking at that scab or it won't heal properly.
I know, but the scar will look amazing. You see, it already sort of looks like a wyvern's... I'll just put the bandage back on now. Sorry, ma'am.
Thank you, darling. Tell me, Iron Bull, is there anything I can do to assist you more effectively in combat?
No, I'm good.
You do so much fighting at the front. I would help however I may. If my skills can weaken your opponents to make your fight easier, please let me know.
Well, nobody fights well when their clothes are on fire. But honestly, I do really like the ice. Whatever works for you, though, ma'am.
I'm always happy to help.
Solus, I take it you study spirits?
I do.
Back in my homeland, we keep spirits as servants.
So I have been told.
The things they can be made to do are quite marvelous. You should see them.
The Tevinter Imperium is not the safest place for an elf.
Ah, yes. Point taken. Do you use spirits as servants, Solus? You'd have no trouble capturing them.
No. They are intelligent living creatures. Binding them against their will is reprehensible.
How much will do they have? They're amorphous constructs of the Fade. There's no harm in putting them to constructive use. And most mages back home treat them well.
And any that show magical talent are freed, are they not?
What? Spirits don't have magical talent?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about your slaves. Do you require a mana cleansing to remove the residual energies on your staff?
The Circle's training in energy modulation is thorough. I sincerely doubt you could add anything.
So you intend for your staff to carry that particular aura?
Is that a problem, my dear?
No, as you were.
So, an apostate.
That is correct, Enchanter. I did not train in your circle.
Well, dear, I hope you can take care of yourself, should we encounter anything outside your experience.
I will try, in my own fumbling way, to learn from how you helped seal the rifts at Haven. Ah, wait. My memory misleads me. You were not there.
Solus, have I offended you?
If you have, why would it concern you?
Because we're here working together for a common cause, and because I respect your abilities.
My abilities as a mage?
Well, I realize there's more to you than that.
The differences between us are not technicalities to be discarded, Dorian.
I was hoping we might find common ground, that's all. Official mage to the Orlesian Imperial Court. That sounds exciting.
It is an esteemed position, darling, that many mages would envy.
Yes, being paraded about like an exotic peacock is better than running frantically from Templars.
Better an exotic peacock than one Tevinter rat amongst many.
Oh, a dig at my homeland. This should be fun. How is it, Vivienne, that you weren't part of the rebellion with the rest of the Southern mages?
Those of us outside of the circles could not be compelled to revolt.
Ah, nothing like solidarity.
This from a man who hails from a nation where mages kill each other for sport.
Vivienne, are you saying you wouldn't rather live in a land where mages aren't herded into cages like dogs?
Which land is that? The one where mages are feared and despised as tyrants?
I'm the first to admit magisters aren't perfect, but they've also done great things. They're allowed to.
Monstrous things as well. Or you wouldn't be here, would you?
Locking people into cages isn't the answer.
Naturally. First we execute those who will not submit, then we deal with the rest.
Solus, for what it's worth, I'm sorry. The elven city of Arlathan sounds like a magical place, and for my ancestors to have destroyed it.
Dorian! Hush. Empires rise and fall. Arlathan was no more innocent than your own Tevinter in its time. Your nostalgia for the ancient elves, however romanticized, is pointless. If you wish to make amends for past transgressions, free the slaves of all races who live in Tevinter today.
I don't know that I can do that.
Then how sorry are you? I like being out in the forests. It's peaceful.
You must be pleased, apostate. Your rebels have won the favor of the Inquisition.
My rebels? Am I an agent for their cause? Whispering poison into the Inquisition's ears? How comforting.
You enjoy seeing yourself as a villain?
No more than any other clever man who wonders what he could do if pushed. But I meant you, Enchanter. How comforting it must be for you to see a traitor helping the rebels from within. You need never concern yourself with the possibility that your circle was wrong.
Why emerald graves? What graves? Did they bury people here?
I presume you know what they will say of Corypheus, Dorian.
Darkspawn, madman, relic of an unwanted past? Don't keep me in suspense.
They will say he is Tevinter.
No.
I'm aware you claim to be here to counter that, but the damage is done.
I'm not here on behalf of my nation's reputation, Vivian. I'm here to do what is right.
If only more of your countrymen felt as you do.
I notice you used a nullification enchantment combined with an offensive attack.
The nullification disrupts any ambient magic lying about. Things then burn hotter.
Don't you then waste an inordinate amount of magic overcoming your own nullification?
Ah, no. I warp the veil slightly to affect distance between the spells.
Of course. Have you considered snapping the veil warp to enhance the relative energy?
Like cracking a whip. Yes, tried it once. Made my teeth taste funny.
Completely uncivilized.
The veil is thin here. Can you feel it?
What a lovely forest. Kinda makes you want to retch, yes? That orb Corypheus carries, are you certain it's of elven origin, Solus?
I believe so. Why do you ask?
There are paintings in the Magisterium's archives of men holding similar orbs. They were depictions of a time long before the Magisters, the ancient dreamers, perhaps. The texts called those orbs somnamborium, vessels of dreams. Could they be the same thing?
Perhaps. The humans of ancient times took much from the elves.
And Corypheus isn't far removed from that time.
Tell me, Enchanter, do you even bother to explore the Fade in your dreams?
I prefer to explore the world I actually live in.
A pity. You could be much more powerful if you ventured outside your narrow preconceptions.
Ah, the temptation to leave the path. You sound like a pride demon.
Enchanter, any pride demon you met would just walk away, shaking its head and laughing uncontrollably.
Oh, darling, more than one already has.
I'm not made for the wilderness. I'm more taverns and big cities.
You know, Solus, you do an excellent job of spellcasting without any concrete knowledge of technique.
Your rigorous training lays a solid foundation, true. It also creates boundaries, limits, where none need exist.
I do prefer to have boundaries between myself and the demons, my dear.
Of course. You endure the harrowing, where your circle teaches you that all demons attempt to possess you.
Not at all. Many of them simply want to kill you. I suppose you would claim otherwise.
Why should I? You would not believe me. You have learned your lessons all too well. Your magical skill is impressive, Dorian.
You're not the first to say so.
Would you not conserve energy with a less flashy style, however?
Yes, and I'd live longer if I only ate rice and boiled vegetables, but that's just as unlikely. What I wouldn't give for some proper wine.
Skyhold Steward is a sadistic little man who is trying to kill us.
Perhaps he found a bargain he couldn't pass up on vats of vinegar.
It could be worse, darling. It could be an Anders vintage.
Egad, we'd be forced to retaliate.
The fact that I, an apostate, have not been enslaved by demons must be quite vexing, Enchanter.
Not at all, darling. You clearly have an exceptional gift for the Fade.
You flatter me.
I'm far more surprised you haven't been murdered by terrified villagers wielding pitchforks.
Yes, packing all the mages into towers and threatening them with Templars certainly kept them safe.
It did, until a rogue apostate destroyed Kirkwall's chantry and started a fight most mages did not want.
Your circle was a tightly clamped lid on a boiling pot. It held for a while, and unless you looked inside, it all seemed fine. Then everyone feigned surprise when it finally burst.
Vivienne, perhaps you can answer this. Why the bizarre Orlesian fixation with masks?
It's part of the game, my dear. You never see your opponent's true visage.
A strange custom in a culture where people assassinate each other for putting too much salt in the soup.
An additional challenge to be navigated. Fail at the game and you die.
And you people call Tevinter barbaric.
You are barbarians, darling, but that's part of your charm.
Solus, what's this whole look of yours about?
I'm sorry?
No, that outfit is sorry. What are you supposed to be, some kind of woodsman? Is this a Dalish thing? Don't you dislike the Dalish? Or is it some kind of statement?
No.
Well, it says apostate hobo to me.
Unwashed apostate hobo, more specifically. So, apostate, if the circle is such a failure, what would be your solution? Would you have your fellow mages live among the people, unguarded, unwatched?
Yes.
And when they became possessed, or used their power to harm?
I would kill them. Magic is more elegant than a blade or a bow, but a murderer remains a murderer.
So you alone would pass judgment, repay murder with murder? Or do we open this up to mobs and vigilantes? If you're going to dispense justice upon violent mages yourself, you'll need eternal life and omniscience. If only there were individuals dedicated to finding and eliminating such criminals. Perhaps they might help.
I am certain they would, until black and white distinctions perverted their simple minds.
Solus, that little flare you sometimes do with your staff, you're redirecting ambient energy to your personal aura?
Yes, the effect clears excess magical energy and creates a minor randomized barrier to impair incoming magic.
Fascinating. It's a Tevinter technique. I've never seen anyone in this part of the world do it.
The technique is not Tevinter, it is Elven.
Oh, that means we... never mind then.
But do go on about the wonders of Tevinter magic.
Let me get this straight, Solus. You're an apostate, neither Dalish nor city elf, who lived alone in the woods studying spirits.
Is that a problem for you?
No, you're a special and unique snowflake. Live the dream.
Do enjoy this time, Enchanter. You may miss your freedom when you lock yourself back up in some tower.
Imprisonment is largely a matter of who holds the keys.
You so often come out on top. You play the political games brilliantly.
A compliment, although you speak it as a curse.
You could use those skills to improve the lives of your fellow mages. Instead, you have done nothing save consolidate your own power.
What if keeping my power might in fact improve the lives of my fellow mages?
You honestly believe the world is better off with you setting its course?
I need not be in the spotlight, but after watching others try and fail, why should I not have a turn?
Then, Enchanter, I leave you with the greatest curse of my people, Durtharamar.
What rustic elven curse is that, apostate?
May you learn.
Ah, Solus, you startled me. You're always so... nondescript.
Please speak up. I cannot hear you over your outfit.
It's rather amusing, Dorian.
Your outfit's entertaining, I'll give you that.
The way you sneer at southerners, pretending to be a shark from a land of sharks. But you are not a shark, and never will be, darling. They knew it, just as you do.
I could have pretended. Wore fancy clothes, convinced everyone I'm something I'm not. Then I could take a position at court, whore myself out, and desperately hope no one realizes what a fraud I am.
Such snapping for a fish without teeth.
You should put on a show. Charge for admission.
My dear Inquisitor, whatever is the issue? We're having a perfectly civil conversation.
It's true. I've heard worse from our gardener back home.
Solus, darling, if you wish instruction in proper magical attacks, do let me know.
I will. Perhaps you will direct me to a circle mage who does not front-load her barriers.
That reminds me. I should order more venison for the circle larder.
Vivienne, I heard about your friend, the Duke.
Bastien was not my friend, darling. And I'll forego your bland and ill-informed observations.
I only meant to say I'm very sorry for your loss. We found elves. Living, ancient elves at the Temple of Mythal. Does that bother you, Solas?
I'm pleased we were not forced to kill them, if that's what you mean.
I mean them being there at all. Thousands of years later, and they live. There could be others in ruins we haven't yet discovered. Shouldn't we be looking for them?
Perhaps Abelas will do that.
I wonder if that's a good thing. I can't believe I was in the Fade. Physically.
You think that is an achievement of which to be proud?
It's the second time that's been done in all of history. That's not nothing, Solas.
In all of human history?
The Fade is still a mystery to us humans, yes. Probably always will be.
Perhaps it's best it remain that way. I am surprised you do not practice blood magic, Dorian. Is it not popular in Tevinter?
While we're sharing surprises, you've done a lot less dancing naked in the moonlight than I expected.
Tevinter lore about elves remains accurate as always.
I wanted to see you make flowers bloom with your song, just once.
A decent gardener could do wonders with this mess. You must be pleased with what was revealed at the Temple of Mythal, Solas.
Why should those ruins please me, Enchanter?
Now you know the elves were once a mighty nation.
I always knew, Enchanter. The Temple of Mythal is just another reminder of what was lost. It was fascinating to observe you at the Winter Palace, Enchanter.
I am pleased that such engagements are enjoyable for everyone. Even those with no grasp of subtler social interplay might enjoy the pageantry.
It is all pageantry, Enchanter.
Isn't everything? I'm curious, Dorian. Have you ever met the Black Divine?
I saw him once at a ball, but we never met. He had to leave early on account of his assassination.
Someone tried to kill him.
Kill him? No. He killed a magister. Could have waited until the dancing was finished.
I'm sure you know exactly what you're doing, Solas. But a word of advice?
Oh, I look forward to this. Go ahead, Enchanter.
You set your coattails on fire with that last spell.
Perhaps what you perceived was merely a figment of the Fade.
I would not claim your familiarity with the Fade, but I recognize fire when I see it, darling.
It did go out eventually. It was not worth mentioning.
Not for you, perhaps. I confess, Solas, I expected you to be back at the Temple of Mythal. Some powerful magic yet remains there, if it can be trusted.
For once, we agree. Many relics were lost for good reason.
You explore the Fade to ferret out such secrets, do you not?
When I awaken each morning, all I have with me are those secrets. The power at the Temple of Mythal is tangible, potent, and far too easy to misuse.
We are not so different after all, my dear apostate. We both believe magic must be limited safely.
Only a fool would ignore such a stark reminder of the destruction of an empire. We may disagree on many things, Enchanter, but neither of us is a fool.
You are too kind. I do hope you were not mistaken for a servant at the Winter Palace, Solas.
Such mistakes are opportunities in disguise. Nobles say things around servants they would never say to Cassandra or the Inquisitor.
Yes. Anyone who wishes to play the game learns to use her servants effectively. Although I am surprised to see an elven apostate catch on so quickly.
My apologies. I shall try to live down to your expectations.
The Grey Warden mages must be an inspiration, Solas. Free of the constraints of the Circle, they have shown that they need no oversight to guide themselves. But then they behaved rather atrociously. What a pity.
I never claimed mages should be above the law, Enchanter.
No, darling. You merely implied it, while offering no viable suggestions for improvement.
Vivienne, we can continue this dance forever if you wish.
Presuming both of us are capable.
I mock Orlesian frippery and nonsense, you mock Tevinter decadence and tyranny. There is, however, something far more important we should remember.
Just what might that be?
At least we're not Antivan.
Quite right. Thank the Maker.
Your position in the Orlesian court must be frustrating, Enchanter.
Darling, I have no idea what you might be implying.
With your magic, you are kept at arm's length, never able to play the game to its fullest. Some part of you must always wonder if you could have gone farther had you not been a mage.
Don't be absurd. Without magic, I doubt the Orlesian court would have any interest in me at all.
That must rankle as well.
Solus, dear, do you find your magic affected at all by the fluctuations in the Fade?
Nothing unexpected, given the energies emanating from the rifts. And you, Enchanter?
The same. Corypheus is a complex creature to draw upon so many different sources of power. He has his own magic. He draws from the Blight. The artifact he carries is elven. And now he uses a demon to create a false calling to fool the mages.
The false calling was Blight magic. The demon merely amplified its power.
This ancient magister is like a man drinking from 3 wine glasses at once.
And one of the glasses is poisoned.
You disapprove of Corypheus using the magic of the Blight, Solus?
Every intelligent creature should.
Yet you raise no objection to the Grey Wardens using blood magic.
Blood magic is no worse than any other, properly used. But the Blight corrupts everything it touches. Those who believe themselves capable of using it safely are mad.
I understand that Grey Wardens are connected in some way to the Blight.
Then that explains why we saw no old men at Adamant.
Someone should build a summer home here. The trees are actually quite lovely.
Vivian, I'm curious. You must have crossed paths with Lady Morrigan in the court, yes?
There is no need to use that title, my dear. She is an ill-bred apostate, nothing more.
Odd. I'd have thought you'd easily relate to a commoner of ambition.
You thought incorrectly. It's outrageous that she's been forced on the Inquisition.
I welcomed her among us, Vivienne.
As did Celine, yet the only one I've seen benefit is Morrigan herself.
I wonder if there is a single place in the Dales that does not know a human footstep.
You must be greatly relieved, Vivian, after what happened at the Winter Palace.
The entire Empire breathes a sigh of relief, darling.
Your position is also secure, considering how instrumental the Inquisition was in Celine's survival.
I was pleased to have even a small part in the endeavor.
We're not in court, dear woman. No need for the honey.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Looks like lots of fighting for stupid reasons.
Reminds me a little too much of Kirkwall. You're eyeing Bianca, Buttercup. She's taken.
That thing is too complicated. Lots to break.
She's a particular lady, but the rewards more than match the effort.
That means you agree but don't want her to know. But she's just a thing.
Someone's jealous. She has that effect.
Someone's an arse. You're an arse.
This place has seen better days.
Knock, knock.
Okay, I'll bite. Who's there?
The Inquisition.
The Inquisition who?
That's who we are, Varric.
Yeah, that's not working either. You didn't get that one from Sarah, did you?
Sarah. My tongue wants to whistle on the start. Sarah. But it has to stay still, or the R is a D. Sarah. Seda, dudda, 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 dudda. If you try, you can say it without moving your mouth. See? Sarah. Say it enough and it stops being a word. Sarah, 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 Sarah.
It's like its face doesn't know what it's saying.
You like to dance, but can't. You hate to sing, but can. You should not paint. It would be very bad if you did.
Shut it up.
So, kid, why human?
It was the shape that would help.
Huh. Most people don't pick a shape. I guess I was hoping for something deeper with that question.
It had to be him, but harmless. The him he wanted that wouldn't hurt.
Well, that's deeper, I think.
The veil is limp here.
I think I have it. Let me try again.
All right, kid, let's see what you've got.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Cole.
Cole who?
It's me, Cole. That is my name.
No, you're still not getting it. Sorry, kid.
Sarah, you're confused. I can help. The joke means the horns on the cow's head, but there are different horns that make noise when you blow them. It's funny because the cow horns and music horns are very different. Cullen explains it better.
Why does it keep talking at me?
So, what exactly is the deal with the Friends of Red Jenny?
Why are you lot always on about this? There's no deal. You just do things.
Just things like whatever?
Just things.
Like the, 100 or so groups in Kirkwall that sat around all night dressed as guards or exotic dancers, waiting to jump out and hit someone?
Nah, a friend shut them out. But they were legend, right?
Hey kid, what would a pride demon say to weaken a warrior's resolve? I need something that gets under her skin.
Does she use a big sword or a sword and shield?
Or one of the big two-handers.
The next time you imagine him touching you, someone you love will die.
Well, that went a little dark. Who's him in this?
She knows who he is. Does it not work for your book?
No, it works great. Just glad you're not that kind of demon. How much do you want to bet that rubble's in fashion in Orlais by next fall?
Why did they have to fight?
What? What is it?
The sky wants to say something. It's trying, tempting, words in the wind, whistling, wandering, wasted. It's going to rain. Not here, but somewhere. The thunder will sound like her belly after the soup.
Don't look at it. Don't look at it.
So much pain. It wore down the walls.
Dwarves are weird.
No argument here.
Oh, you're doing this wrong. So why are you here, slumming it with us lowlies? Get your fun that way?
You've seen nobles. You think I'd get any fun hanging out with them?
Right. Them.
Hey kid, back in the last village, that farmer was looking right past you. Why didn't you let him see you?
He didn't need me.
Maybe not, but you could learn something by talking with him.
What would I learn? I can hear when they need me.
You could learn not to scare them so badly that they have to forget you.
I'll try.
You were in Denerim, huh?
I've been lots of places.
From what I've heard, the Jenny thing wasn't so playful down there.
Right, well, everyone knows an arse or two.
I'm just saying, it seems like you're not having the effect you could.
Well, hello, third arse.
Your stories aren't real, but then people read them and they are.
Now, get the readers invested and you'll have them forever.
So many people reading, dreaming, feeling. Spirits spill around the veil, making shapes, reality from writing.
I've got fans in the Fade. Well, that's something. Shame I'll never meet them.
Do you write to reach across? To hear the song that was sundered?
I'm not sure what that even means, kid, but probably.
The heft in my hands, solid, strong, but curving, careful, like her. Soot smudge on her cheek, tiny scars on her fingers, old fires. Her little frown when she twists a gear ever so slightly.
Yep, that's her, kid.
I like traveling with dwarves.
I'm glad to hear it, kid.
You're quiet, but the old song still echoes inside, almost like Templars.
Seriously, Buttercup, nothing about the way you run things could possibly work.
They work. They've done more. This is just what I do.
Well, what you do doesn't make sense.
Oh yeah? Well, you don't make sense either.
Should I push, or am I just setting myself up for your face doesn't make sense?
Shut it! Ugh, I get it, alright. You have better friends somewhere else.
I'm not used to being so uninvolved in my own conversations. What did I do now?
Oh, growly, never eye to eye. You miss people, fine. Are you full up or something?
Look, Buttercup, it's hard to start a new story before you set down the old one.
Ugh, again with books. Get a ruddy shelf, you know, that holds more than one.
That was almost a coherent metaphor.
Piss off. Oh, thanks. Oh, piss off.
Okay, kid. Try it again like we practiced.
2 pairs beats 1 pair. 4 of a kind beats 2 pairs. She slips the ace of dragons into a thigh-high boot, calls to the barman for another round. Blondie stares at the table, angry, always angry.
Focus, kid. You can't beat 4 of a kind with bad memories.
How do you make them calm?
Who, kid?
Everyone. You talk, and the fear fades, slipping to sleep. Not always happy, but not angry.
Well, most people are like cats. They either puff up to look dangerous, or they crouch down and hope you don't see them. You show them you're not a victim or a threat, and they're in your lap and purring before you know it.
Cats swat my feet, even when no one can see me.
That explains a lot.
You're not better than me, you know.
When did that come up?
So what if you have friends who do shit for you and are organized?
I'm pretty sure we were never having this fight, Buttercup. And probably still aren't. You know, Buttercup, you might get better results from your friends if you planned ahead a little.
See? That's how I know you're not really one of us. You think like a noble.
Nah, I'm more of a pretender, really.
You what?
I'll keep acting like a big shot and hope it sticks. That's pretty much how the surface dwarf thing works. Doesn't matter. Point is, if you put a little work in, you could pull off much bigger pranks. Think about it.
Who names their bow? It's just a thing. That's stupid.
It's a crossbow. One of a kind. And far smarter than current company.
Oh, kiss it already. And tell Booty, Coty, and other Booty I'm real sorry.
We're a very forgiving family.
Do they ever stop talking to you?
Nouns, kid? Does who ever stop talking to me?
The people in your head. They aren't real, but they have voices and thoughts, and sometimes you see through their eyes.
If they stopped, I wouldn't have to write so much. Okay, try it again, you'll get it.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Me.
Me who?
Me, and I'm telling a knock-knock joke.
That was closer. Keep trying.
Stop doing that.
Certainly. What was it?
I can hear how you're looking at me. You're doing that thing where you describe what we're doing.
Narration, and you can hear how I'm looking.
That's the thing. Just stop it.
I will try my best not to do the impossible.
That problem you had down the Banner, fixed it.
Now, why would you think I had concerns out that way?
I'm still better at having chatty friends. Anyway, your caravan got away.
Hypothetically, how many people did that cost?
1 angry cook and a side of bad pork. The shits stop a search as well as anything. Not every plan needs days and ropes and stuff.
I like how you see where the arrow will land without being there. It's falling and flying, free in flight, all the same, like looking through the fade.
That thing is not right. Aren't you supposed to tell fun stories? Why are they all so boring?
See, I'd be offended if I didn't know your boring actually means made of words.
Too many people hurting, harming, hacking open a hole for the demons to pour in. Your bow was a tree once. A girl with a long name met a boy with strong hands there. Her body warm, leaning against the trunk, hair tangled in branches and fingers. Forever, no matter what. They cut letters in the bark. When her parents took her away, he cut the letters away to forget. Every time you pull it, the part that was a tree remembers. Can you feel it under your fingers?
It wants me to talk, but I'm not falling for it.
When you fire your bow, it hums after, every time. Your mind makes it quiet, but if you heard it backwards, it would sound longer, a thrum through the gut. But don't think about it, or you'll tense your shoulder like you do, and then your shot will go too far left.
Make it bother someone else.
Sarah, No matter how you turn your head, your ears point to the fade. Do you do it on purpose?
Piss off thing. Have we been here? I mean, right here, doing exactly this. It feels weird.
Yes, but not how you mean. In the soft, thin places, spirits push with memories that didn't happen, or did, or might. Before the door is open, they could let the cat out and it would always be alive.
It's looking at me. I don't know why you're so smug. I know way more people than you.
Quality over quantity.
Winner over loser.
You don't have to be afraid, Sarah. I won't hurt you. I won't stab you when you're looking somewhere else. I won't do that to your boots, or that other thing to your arrows. I don't understand what that last thing is, but I won't do it either.
It turns the other way, or it eats a boot.
So, kid, you don't have any formal combat training at all?
No, I go where the knife needs to be.
Whatever works for you.
All right, why Buttercup?
You seem the type. Or exactly not the type. I forget how these things are supposed to work sometimes.
You don't forget anything.
And you noticed. That's why you're Buttercup.
I read one of your books, Varric.
The whole book?
Shut it. Anyway, it was boring. Your adventures are boring. I've seen way better just walking around.
Well, that's because you do things. Escapist fiction for you would be cross-stitch or knitting.
Oh, knitting is brilliant. It's stabby sewing.
Enjoying the Inquisition so far, Buttercup?
Oh, sure, right? Happy as a pig in clover.
Shit.
What?
The phrase is commonly happy as a pig in shit.
Really? Ugh. Nature's rubbish.
No argument there.
But he died at the end of the last book. If he comes back, the readers will be confused.
Okay, delving into my personal life is one thing, but a writer needs some privacy.
Ugh, the Dalish want this why?
Okay, try it again, you'll get it.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Me.
Me who?
Me? And I'm telling a knock-knock joke.
That was closer. Keep trying.
La 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 la, sentinels are shits.
Like it or not, Buttercup, that's where you come from.
Says the undwarfiest dwarf ever.
Fair enough. Paragons can be shits too.
They were staring at me.
Who's they, kid?
In Skyhold. The servants in the courtyard. They were looking at me and whispering.
It's the hat. Kind of hard to miss. Don't worry about it.
What's wrong with my hat?
That's going to take a while. I'll explain clothes when we get back.
There are songs in every part of you, Sarah. Soft, silly, sibilant, sighing in silence, waiting for you to hear them.
Leave me alone.
Should I change my hat?
Nah, if they're busy staring at your hat, they're ignoring all your other flaws.
A silk shirt with 3 buttons left undone.
Exactly. If you can't be flawless, and no one can, be flashy. Nobody will know the difference. How are you holding up, kid? You've been quiet for a while.
My shoelaces keep coming untied.
You're doing fine.
Can you talk to them? They don't listen to me.
Maybe not so fine. Don't talk to them, kid. Just tie them in knots.
Look, can you at least not stare past my eyes? Freaking creepy, that.
You're not your eyes. You live behind them.
That too. Don't do that. Creepy.
Buttercup, the kitchen's missing all their lard. Was that you?
Yeah.
You know, I don't even want to ask what you did with it. I just want to say, nice work. So, you bagged the silver, sent letters the first night, then 6 friends by the river?
Bartered the keys and never even saw Lordy. Half the fun, but that's all right. Twice the take.
Ah, that was just the start, Buttercup. A maneuver to increase pressure and reward in a secondary caper.
Yeah. A what?
You two aren't causing too much trouble, I hope.
Causing? No. Harnessing is a better word.
Smarty Pants here really knows how to wring them out. Creepy is staring again. Aren't you supposed to be getting better or something? Less like you?
I'm still me. I just remember more.
It's a bit of a process.
Well, do it somewhere else. Ugh. You're still just wrong. So, Bianca.
Nope, not going there.
That's what she said. Probably. Because you two are friggin' weird.
Fair point, Buttercup. Fair point.
Why don't you have real Bianca instead of fingering your fake?
It's complicated.
But you handle things. Secret network and all that.
Dwarven ways are dug in deep. Let's just say I don't quite have the reach. She lacks a certain flexibility.
Pity. Now I wonder how you two look naked.
We're dwarves, so like I said, I don't have the... You know, I'll just leave that one to you.
What?
You didn't know the custard would bring the cats. It made everything different. No one slipped, but the tails were like little people, bobbing as they lapped it up.
You are not making me happy.
So you can make people not see you, Cole. Can you do that for other people?
Yes, it makes me tired and doesn't work if they're loud or angry or bright.
What about things? Can you make people ignore an object?
Maybe. Like what?
Oh, I don't know, a book or a box or a crate or a wagon full of crates?
Turning creepy loose on your stuff. Not a good idea, Dwarfy.
I'm just asking.
That whetstone you lent me, it produces a remarkable edge.
Celestine Black, they call it. It's the only stone I'll use on my blades. You know what? Keep it. I'll find another.
Thank you. That's very kind.
Hey, Blackwall. What's the most limbs you've ever cut off something in one swing?
For the Wardens, battle is a sacred duty. A vigil kept to guard the world against destruction. It's not a game.
Right, same here.
Do heads count?
Heads absolutely count.
Then, 3.
Nice. Down on the collarbone and through, right? That's how I get the good ones.
Have you considered incorporating headbutts into your fighting style?
Oh, yes. Tried it a few times. No luck.
Too easy for enemies to defend against?
A little. I'm big enough that I've got to lean down to make it work on most people. You see it coming. I did it once with a charge, though. Got a vent on each horn.
Nicely done.
Yes. Except for the part where they were both hanging from my head yelling for the rest of the fight.
Ah, point taken, so to speak.
So I hear you saved the last divine from a dragon assault.
Yes, in my youth, with help.
Nice.
You're not going to press for the details.
Nah, I can see you don't want to talk about it. Bet you look good doing it, though. Something's funny about you.
Oh?
Yeah, you talk about Grey Wardens and honor and sacrifice and griffins, but you're still not convinced.
Not convinced?
Yes, you know what I mean.
And you know this because?
I'm a people person.
You had a brother?
I did. I still miss him sometimes.
I had a sister. A younger sister. She died when I was very little.
I'm sorry.
I often think about what she'd be like now, had she lived.
Much like her brother, I would expect.
Maker, I wouldn't wish that on her. All this hair. You joined the Seekers when you were young, did you not?
I wanted to join the Templars, but was given to the Seekers.
So you knew what you wanted, even if you didn't get it.
I wanted vengeance at first, but I discovered a deeper joy in duty.
That's good. Some of us take much longer to find our place.
And some never find it. We are both lucky. That move you performed in our last fight was well executed, Bull. I'm impressed.
Thank you, Seeker. I'd be happy to teach you.
If you had done that in our last sparring match, you might have won.
Then it's time for a rematch. You know, the Ben Hasrath are a lot like your Seekers, Cassandra.
I highly doubt that.
Maintaining justice in the ranks, operating under a veil of secrecy, investigating corruption and threats to the Order, and we deal with it all so quietly. Most people never notice.
Interesting. Though we do not break the minds of our prisoners.
Well, keep at it. You guys will get there. Sounds like joining the Grey Wardens is like following the Qun.
How, do you think?
Service. Hard work for a good cause, always knowing where you fit in, what you have to do.
I suppose I see the similarity when you put it like that.
Little surprised I got there before you did, big guy.
It is bitterly cold, but I've never seen a clearer night.
So how does being a Grey Warden work? I assume it's more complicated than just signing up.
Yes.
And how is it that you're the only ones who can end the Blights?
Is there a reason for the interrogation?
Curiosity. The Ben Hasrath could know more about the Wardens. Also, those ogre guys, the darkspawn that look like messed up Kunari. The Ben Hasrath aren't pleased.
Few are.
You know, Seeker, I really like hitting things.
So I'd gathered.
I knew you'd understand.
I am surprised you accept fighting at a woman's side, Bull. I understood Kunari women did not fight.
If a Kunari woman really wants to fight and has a gift for it, she becomes an Akunathlak. The Akunathlak joins the warriors and is treated like a male. He becomes a guy, for all intents and purposes.
But she wouldn't physically become male, surely.
Doesn't matter. In the Qun, your role is everything.
And do you think of me as male, then?
Depends. In or out of your armor. Ah, that's some good armor.
Are you referring to me?
Some high-ranking women wear ornamental crap with tits hammered into it. One good shot, and all that cleavage gets knocked right into the sternum. Real messy. Good on you for going practical.
I aim to please.
Leave something to the imagination, too. You're good with that sword.
Thanks.
I see all that time on your own has given you a firm grip.
I've seen ruins like this all over Thedas. There's thousands out there. Some must have been bigger than proper cities like Denerim or Val Royeaux. Don't the horns make it hard to lie down? How do you sleep?
Soundly, while propped up on a bed of oiled, writhing virgins.
Be wary. Many predators come out at night.
The other day, did I see you punch a tree? What did it ever do to you?
Plenty.
I see.
I suffered from hay fever when I was small. My brother joked I should punch a tree in retaliation. So I did, and the sneezing stopped. I've done it ever since.
The direct approach. I like it.
You know one thing I miss about Parvalin? The bananas. They're bigger, less squishy, and bendier.
You're talking about the fruit, right? Please tell me you're talking about the fruit.
And how did you join the Wardens?
It's the usual story.
There is no such thing as a usual story.
A tavern, a chance meeting, a senior warden who saw worth in a worthless man. I'm not alone.
There is more to this. You just don't want to tell it.
No, you don't want to hear it.
Look at how far it goes. You could ride for miles.
We should keep moving. It'll keep the chill at bay.
Hey, Blackwall, what would your ideal blade be forged from?
Well, many famous warden blades were made from silverite. It seems to work well on Darkspawn. And you? Clearly a man who enjoys a good blade. Bloodstone, perhaps?
Nah, Bloodstone's great at holding an edge, but that sharpness leaves it brittle. You may not have noticed, but I'm not a finesse fighter. I guess I'd go with Dawnstone.
Dawnstone? That's even more brittle than bloodstone.
Yes. Really damn pretty, though.
It's pink.
It's pretty. Blackwall. Iron Bull. We could fight crime.
Isn't that exactly what we're doing, right this minute? More or less?
Oh, yeah.
I'm surprised you don't wear heavier armor on your blind side.
If I did that, I'd just be telling people where to hit me. As it is, every half-decent fighter sees the eye and thinks he can feint, then come in with a low stab. Then I chop his head off. It's like a gimme.
That can't work every time.
It doesn't, but taking a blade to the ribs is a pretty good teacher. You could have been one of the Chargers, Blackwall. You've got the stature, the attitude.
And you'd be my boss.
Hey, I'm a great boss. I'm a firm believer in No Pants Fridays.
I'd rather fight for a cause.
Hey, No Pants Fridays is a cause. That was some solid work back there, Seeker.
You as well.
The way you backhanded that guy with your shield and then damn near chopped him in half. Hey, are you as turned on as I am right now?
Am I what?
That's probably impossible anyway.
Is it true that Leliana knows everything about everyone?
Only the Maker knows everything about everyone. But it doesn't hurt if people believe it of Leliana.
You encourage it?
It keeps people honest. Besides, if there is anything to learn, Leliana will learn it. I've seen her work.
Right. Good to know. So, if I were to convert to the Kyun, what place would I have in your society?
Ben Hasrath, perhaps, if you prove yourself.
And if I don't?
Oh, laborer, probably.
Laborer?
Strong back, legs, and laborers are important. You can't have the Tamasrans doing the heavy lifting.
Right. I'll pass.
Really? You don't want to see our pamphlet, digging holes and filling them up again? You know, Seeker, your style doesn't have to be so defensive.
Excuse me?
You've got armor. Let them scratch the paint a bit. You can wind up for a shot that'll really ring their bell. Some part of you wants to just cut loose. I can feel the frustration in your swings. You need any help with that frustration back at camp, let me know.
It's never going to happen.
Apologies for giving offense. I will stop making invitations, Seeker.
I was not offended, nor did I say you should stop. So long as we're both clear, it's never happening.
Works for me.
How do you stand the Skyhold stables?
They're quiet. I like having time to myself.
I can't imagine finding quiet time in that stench.
They're only horses.
They're not horses. They're dung monsters with hooves and tails.
If you told me this place never ends, I'd believe you. So, you were the right hand of the Divine and Leliana the left?
Yes. And if you joke about the right hand not knowing what the left is doing, I will punch you.
Me? No, I would never make such a terrible joke. Cassandra.
Seeker Cassandra, if you must address me.
Seeker Cassandra.
But I would rather you not address me at all.
What happened to it's never too late to become more than what you are?
A man who truly aspired to be righteous would not lie. He would earn respect, not steal the respect due another.
So, Bull, how does it feel to be Talbashoth?
Feels a bit like I've been living a lie, and now it's coming back to bite me in the ass. What's that like, Blackwall?
Calm down, I meant no offense. As you say, I know something of being cut off from a past life, having to find a new way.
Well, you could have just led with that.
In any event, you have the charges. You haven't lost everything.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
I'm glad your men will continue to fight at our side, Bull.
And all we lost was our alliance with the Canary.
I would not trade the Chargers for any alliance.
Thanks, Seeker. The boys will be glad to hear it. Now, isn't this better? Getting the burden of that lie off your chest.
And exchanging it for the burden of everyone hating me? Yes, so much better.
Hey, I don't hate you. You and me, we're good. Now that you know who you are, you can stop doubting yourself and start hitting crap again.
Why don't we hit a few bottles first, huh?
I used to think it was just me who thought you humans all look alike.
And now?
Clearly, you guys can't tell each other apart either. How the crap did you live as some other guy for all those years?
I grew a beard.
Really? Put some hair on your face and no one can tell who you are anymore. That's some disguise, big guy.
And I didn't talk to anyone for months at a time.
All right. That probably helped.
So,
What is it?
nothing. Just enjoying the comfortable silence.
What is the matter with you?
You mean me?
You're favoring your right arm.
It's just a slight sprain. Should be fine by tomorrow. I appreciate your concern.
There will be truth to your lie soon enough, if you can live up to it. I wish you well.
Thank you, Kirika Cassandra. Bloody sand. Getting in places where sand should never be.
Your family's full of dragon hunters, Seeker?
It's something of a legacy.
So, when you face a dragon, does it get your heart pumping? Do you breathe a little faster, feel the blood racing?
What's the alternative? Relax and let it kill us?
No, seriously.
I feel no great calling in my blood. Sorry to disappoint.
Damn. So, you ever letting Blackwall off the hook, Seeker?
I do not wish him ill.
There we go. Progress.
You are considered Talvashoth now, Bull.
Looks that way.
I admit I don't fully understand what that means, but I am sorry.
The Seekers gave you rules to live by, right? The Kennori have the same. And now I don't.
I see.
It's all right. I've got my charges, and I've got the Inquisition. I'm good.
I enjoy fighting at your side, Bull.
Same here, Seeker.
But I will also enjoy returning to the base and sinking slowly into a steaming hot bath, sprinkled with rose petals.
Oh, now you're just being mean. I mean roses. Who has sex smelling like roses? Violets, or a nice frangipani, maybe.
I'm sorry about your apprentice.
Former apprentice. Daniel completed his training with me years ago.
It must be difficult too.
What makes you think I would welcome your pity?
I don't. And I didn't know him. But it seems we lost a good seeker.
You are right. He was a good man. Thank you.
Sorry about your Seekers. It's tough when the ones who watch over us abuse that authority.
Yes, it is.
Always happens, though. Nobody can handle secrets all day long without it getting to them.
How do the Ben Hasrath deal with such problems?
If the problem's small, they turn a blind eye. Like I said, it happens.
And if it is too large to ignore?
How do you think I ended up here?
You had a brother?
Yes. Not that it concerns you.
I had a sister. A younger sister. She died when I was very little.
Is that a true fact, or another fabrication?
I have no more reason to lie, Cassandra. I often wonder what she'd be like now, had she lived.
If you even think about saying she'd be like me, I will hit you.
Hitting is better than quiet rage.
Hey, Seeker. If I hit a guy high while you go low, you think we could get him to flip?
Flip?
Yes. Ass over tea kettle, you know.
I suppose that could be done.
I've always wanted to get a guy to flip.
I miss our sparring matches, Seeker, Cassandra. You were a worthy opponent.
I have other duties. Why not ask Iron Bull? He is always willing to hit something.
I don't much fancy a concussion.
Wouldn't happen unless I meant it to happen.
Comforting.
That whetstone you lent me, it produces a remarkable edge.
Celestine Black, they call it. It's the only stone I use on my blades. You know what? Keep it. I'll find another.
That won't be necessary.
Of course.
Hey, furrows.
What? Me?
Yes, furrows between the eyes, moping, lost in your own issues.
Can't a man think without being judged for it?
I'm not judging. I was gonna say you're pretty good at it. I can't pull that off.
A tragedy, for sure.
And I mean, if you're going to brood, you might as well reap the benefits.
What benefits?
The ladies.